We would like to start today's video with a big thank you to our patrons. We would especially like to thank our newest patron, Jay Young. Thank you so much for your support. We recently put out a post to patrons asking what they would like to see in upcoming videos, and Jay has suggested a Cutter review, so you guys can look forward to that in the very near future, and thank you Jay for your suggestion. When the Horizons expansion was an upcoming release, those that committed to pre-ordering were given access to a unique ship as a reward. That ship was the Cobra MK4. This Faulcon Delacy limited offering is interesting, but in almost all aspects in a negative way. Despite its additional hardpoint, I'm not sure this ship was intended for combat. I'm not actually sure what the intention behind this ship is at all, and I think that is kind of understandably intended. You couldn't make this ship that is for an exclusive few really good. Doing so would give an advantage unattainable to those that did not pre-order. Kind of the definition of pay to win, even if only in a small way considering this is a Cobra variant. So we are left with this curious thing, and the curiosity it inspires is what motivated Commander Pixtru to pester me into reviewing it. In overview, the Cobra MK4 is a heavy and less manoeuvrable alternative to the Cobra MK3. It has more internal space, and so can fit more armour and other modules. But the divergence in the two Cobras is extreme, to the point that the Cobra MK4 does not share many similarities with its Mark III sibling. The cockpit is essentially the same as the Mark III, with two seats side by side, and offers a usable degree of visibility. The principal combat advantage of the Mark IV is an extra small hardpoint, and far better weapon convergence than the Mark III. Its two medium hardpoints are placed in front of the canopy, with the three small hardpoints atop the hull. This makes for actually pretty excellent convergence for fixed weapons. When it comes to aiming mobility, the Cobra MK4 is the least accommodating ship that I've flown yet, and to sum it up, it is just weird. The majority of the time, it turns so slowly that it is a struggle to keep the target in the reticle. But then we'll have a very sudden and unpredictable oversensitivity in the pitch axis. This can wildly throw off aim. This, coupled with the poor thruster performance, makes dealing sustained damage during exerting a real slog. It is a very slow ship, with a boost speed of just over 450 meters a second possible if you really shed a lot of the armor weight. The Cobra MK4 struggles to keep the target in front and in range. Let's take it out and see what it's made of. When trying to gain distance to engage the swarm, I found that I was actually unable to make it beyond 3 kilometers from this starting position. This would mean engaging the swarm in the same way I would for a larger ship, silent running and firing off the occasional heatsink. All directional thrusters are incredibly weak, making changes in translation vector very slow. This could prove to be an insurmountable deficiency against the tougher Thargoid interceptors. A problem only made worse by only having 2 utility slots available for heatsinks. When on target though, the convergence is very good, and having 4 usable ghost cannons allows for making the most of the time on target. The Cyclops was defeatable with the Cobra MK4, but was a little trickier than even I thought it would be. I could already tell that the Basilisk was going to be a far bigger challenge than in other ships. So here the slow aiming speed really does become a factor, and as stated, this is interspersed with seemingly random moments of higher sensitivity in pitch only. This makes the continuous fire needed very difficult. Range control is also very hard to maintain due to the poor thruster performance, with the choice frequently needing to be made between improving position and maintaining aim. And on the first heart would see the Cobra MK4 requiring both a re-exertion and running out of heat sinks. There isn't much time between eliminating a heart and the Basilisk catching up. Taking out the swarm would be far more pressuring with such limited heat sinks and no thermal vent on this build. The difficulty the Cobra faces in manoeuvring makes achieving a successful flyby very difficult once the Basilisk is in your face. Later flybys would be more successful, but the swarm lay in wait and would often find the opportunity to fly through the ship, becoming agitated. It is possible to engage the agitated swarm without taking multiple missile hits, but the Basilisk also engaging makes things a lot more stressful. On later swarms I was prepared and managed to get a flak shot as they passed over me. Basilisk had finally fallen, and it had been a very demanding task for the Cobra MK4. Going into the Medusa fight, I was comforted at least that the Cobra MK4 could at least maintain distance from the Medusa while repairing. Maintaining both range and aim during the Medusa fight is very difficult. Too long a gap and the whole regeneration will reset your progress. You really have to be prepared to push into dangerous territory to keep it going. On the second heart, I was running low on heat sinks, and getting caught in a lightning attack was probably more of a benefit than a curse. The Cobra MK4 can make distance between the hearts from the Medusa, but once engaging the swarm, that distance falls off quickly. The second half of the fight was less demanding on heat sinks, and so things became a little more relaxed. Though the Medusa was determined to keep things very scrappy, and on attacking runs on a few hearts I did need to re-exert, but was able to get back into an attack before an enraged swarm. I feel like the Medusa has pushed the Cobra MK4 to the boundary of what it is capable of. There really is no chance of this ship taking down a Hydra. Maintaining aim and range are absolutely essential against the Hydra, and in my opinion, the Cobra MK4 will fail too often to get an exertion. This is not even taking into account the heatsink limit and the need to synthesize during combat. The Cobra MK4 may be suitable in other roles, but there are better options for each within its price category. And seeing as it isn't available to many commanders anyway, I can at least bring good news in that you are really not missing out.